Did anyone else see Mother Earth's epic disco party last week? We mean the Aurora Borealis. If you didn't, that's okay, because the sun has entered into its natural 11-year cycle of more activity, which means, you guessed it, more opportunities to take majestic pictures of your cat. Seriously, there are lots of awesome Northern Light cat pictures out there, but look at the photo by Earthquake Chill One. That cat is magical! Jokes aside, what are the Northern Lights? How do they happen? Could they end life as we know it? How did our ancestors cope with their existence? I mean, come on! If I'm living in the year 800 CE, and those deep red, angry-looking Northern Lights popped up after I played a prank on my sister, I sure as heck wouldn't stick a whoopee cushion under her seat again. Above all, though, who was the person who put science behind the lights? The person that 95% of us, I guarantee, don't know today. All that and more answered next. Welcome to Small Anthropoids. The year is 800 CE, in what is now known as Norway. You're a small child, bundled in 3 pelts of caribou and an extra layer of stuffy, fur-lined socks that you keep picking at. Your mother insisted. The skald, or storyteller, gathers you around the roaring fire on the shoreline, sparks crackling in a dance that spiral up into the smoke-filled night. Odin chooses his warriors wisely, the skald says. For those who are chosen have the honor of dying in battle before joining him in Valhalla. In death, just follow the green lights, and they will lead you to paradise. You were a bit of an ornery child at the time. You laugh at the skald. People die in battle because they are either slow or stupid. Odin doesn't choose. Odin is as real as those green lights in the sky. The skald kicks the bucket he had been leaning on, and gallons of icy water unleash onto the fire. The slithering, licking orange flames snuff out, and what is left is 1,000 sizzling screams as the steam ekes out from the once stoked wood. You look up into the suddenly clear night. Shafts of light the color of emerald, violet, and blood erupt in the dark. The auroras are giant, humbling, omnipotent. Never mind, you squeak, pulling your socks higher on your suddenly cold feet. The Vikings were one of the many Scandinavian tribes who found a mix of solace, respect, and feelings of small in seeing the Northern Lights. In Finland, the Northern Lights were known as Revontulet, which literally translates to firefox. These foxes would run through the sky so fast that their bushy tails brushed against the mountains and kicked up sparks that lit up the sky. For the Sami, the indigenous Finno-Ugric people, the lights were something to be feared, and if you were to use your mouth to tease the lights by whistling or singing, you might not have a head left in the morning to tell the tale. Native Americans, like some Eskimo tribes in the Cree, thought the Northern Lights offered chances to talk to deceased loved ones. The Menominee tribe of Wisconsin believed that they saw torches used by gentle giants as they fished at night. Half of the Greenland Inuit population believed the Northern Lights were spirits of the dead playing games with a walrus skull, and the other half believed they were walruses playing games with a human skull. What a debate that would be to bring up at family dinners. Continuing on in Greco-Roman mythology, Aurora is the personification of the dawn and the sister of the sun and moon. The Greeks and Romans believed that every day, Aurora raced across the sky in her chariot, alerting her sister and brother to the breaking of a new day. The Northern Lights have even affected human history. In continental Europe, due to its positioning, it is more common for auroras to appear red. Hence, in the onset of the French Revolution, the sky turned blood and people believed it foretold of an impending war. Weeks later, the French monarchy met the guillotine. So, was the red sky a self-fulfilling prophecy or an omen? You decide. My personal favorite is the name the Scots gave the Northern Lights. They were known as merry dancers. However, it was a bit sarcastic. The so-called merry dancers were engaged in battle, and the red sky was filled with their droplets of blood. A good sense of humor must have been an asset in the Dark Ages. I could talk for hours about early beliefs surrounding the Northern Lights, but like a good Wisconsinite, we'll keep her moving. That brings us to the big question. Which of these beliefs is correct? What exactly are the Northern Lights? We started in Norway. It seems only fitting we end in Norway. Enter Kristian Birkeland. I'll give non-Norwegians a pass for not knowing who Kristian is. But Norwegians! His face is on your 200 kroner banknote. That's like people in America not knowing who Alexander Hamilton is until after the musical. Oh wait, that was definitely me too. I won't write a musical about Kristian, today anyway, but he's been forgotten for too long. Although Galileo named the Northern Lights the Aurora Borealis, no one had an inkling of what created them until 1896. That's only a little over 100 years ago today. As soon as Kristian graduated from university, he began work on what's known as a terrella, or a small Earth. This small model of Earth was placed inside a big, clear, fish tank-looking box that he then evacuated of air. Once in the vacuum tank, Kristian shot cathode rays at the terrella. Lo and behold, he created his own mini Northern Lights. No more cold, late-night stargazing for Kristian, folks. Sure enough, the cathode rays, now known as electrons, created auroras that danced around the poles of the terrella, just as they did on the real Earth. We now know the dancing of auroras around the Earth's poles is due to the Earth's electromagnetic field. In a nutshell, the electromagnetic field around the Earth is like a big shield against the sun. Without it, everything would blow off the face of our planet when a solar flare hit, including the oceans, debris, even the magnificent Aurora Borealis cat. Luckily for us, the only thing that happens when a solar flare hits Earth are pretty lights that we can ooh and ah at. From his experiment, Kristian was ecstatic to confirm that yes, the Northern Lights are not some otherworldly intervention, but just a few electrons shot Earth's way and scattered naturally by its atmosphere. With more research, the professor finally fully connected the dots. Northern Lights occurred only when there was a large sunspot activity. Thus, the sun shot these mysterious electrons toward Earth, and the Earth interacted with these electrons via its electromagnetic field. Eureka! And best of all, totally harmless. Harmless, almost, anyway. In the not-so-distant past, it didn't matter what was going on with our sun. But now, we rely on satellites orbiting our Earth for GPS and other signals. I, for one, would hate driving for Pizza Hut while the GPS is down. Thus, a large solar storm could take out our communications and disrupt our electricity here on Earth. The threat is even warned about in the U.S.'s National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA. They have instructions on their website for how to build an extreme geomagnetic storm emergency kit. To save time, however, NOAA simply copy-pasted the same image they had made for a hurricane emergency kit to the geomagnetic storm kit. So hey, to our coastal friends, 2 birds with 1 stone. Make your kits today! In short, it is obvious even the US government takes Kristian Birkeland's ideas seriously. However, this was not the case during Kristian's life. He was tremendously criticized and outcasted in the mainstream scientific community for his novel ideas, which at this point is a prerequisite for being a great scientist ahead of one's time. Feeling small is scary, even to the brightest of scientists, which sometimes causes even the best to lash out. It wasn't until the 1970s, over 60 years later, that technology had finally caught up with Kristian's seemingly preposterous hypothesis, and a satellite confirmed his theory. 60 years too late, but better late than never. On the plus side, though, it wasn't a sad ending for Kristian. Oh wait, I just finished Googling. It actually was. Kristian died tragically days before his 50th birthday from a drug overdose. It is not known if it was suicide, but in retrospect, many look back at how he was treated by the scientific community and connect the dots. What he gave us, though, was amazing for a short time on Earth. He was the first and only person for over 60 years to have pinpointed the scientific source of the Northern Lights, a question that has been the itch of humanity since its dawn. He also invented a machine to pull nitrogen out of thin air, thus creating fertilizer for crops anywhere. Above all, he has been nominated 8 times for the Nobel Prize since his death, and, of course, is on the Norwegian banknote. Although a sad life, his impact reaches to today. With that, we come to a few excerpts from Kristian Birkeland's work on possible electric phenomena in solar systems and nebulae, published in 1913. After all, no one can explain his findings better than Kristian. This was one of his final works published after years of research, proclaiming his findings about the Aurora Borealis, aka the zodiacal light, and the sun. Sit back, Open your mind. Here are abbreviated excerpts from On Possible Electric Phenomena in Solar Systems and Nebulae by Kristian Birkeland. The series of experiments that I have made with a magnetic globe as cathode in a large vacuum box for the purpose of studying analogies to the zodiacal light have led to discoveries that appear to be of great importance for the solar theory. We have already several times had occasion to give various particulars regarding the manner in which these experiments were carried out. It is by powerful magnetization of a magnetizable globe that the phenomenon is produced. It is a corresponding primary ring of radiant matter about the Sun that, in my opinion, can give an efficient explanation of the various zodiacal light phenomena. In the above-mentioned experiments, it is seen how the rays from the polar regions bend down in a simple curve about the equatorial plane of the globe to continue their course outwards from the globe in the vicinity of this plane. An aureole is hereby produced about the magnetic globe, with ray structure at the poles, the whole thing strongly resembling pictures of the Sun's corona. It seems to be a natural consequence of our points of view to assume that the whole of space is filled with electrons. Therefore, it will be immediately apparent what far-reaching consequences are here built upon our experimental analogies. There seems to be a constantly increasing appreciation of the fruitfulness of the method established by the representation of such analogies for the study of celestial phenomena. Thus concludes excerpts from Kristian Birkeland's On Possible Electric Phenomena in Solar Systems and Nebulae. Next time you look up and see the northern lights, which is hopefully soon, think of the Viking halls of Odin's Valhalla, or the Finnish firefox whisking her bright tail across the night, or even think of Kristian. The stranger talking across from you at the cafe might have outlandish ideas. They may even think cats secretly seek to overthrow the society, and that is why they aren't allowed in government buildings. But, provided that the ideas are not harmful, it costs nothing to be kind. Who knows? Maybe 70 years from now, we'll have a very different idea of our cat overlords. That's our show. Feel free to submit your northern light photos as you snap them, or if you have an idea for the show, submit that as well. We're always looking to feature new talents, arts, and voices of others, as well as raise up whoever we can. With that, stay curious, stay kind. We hope you found any feelings of small were not scary. Take care, small anthropoids.